Hello, everybody. This is Simply Dorales on Simply Dorales podcast. We're running a little bit behind, but we are here. Our topic today, won by the polls, is open communication. I do have guests with me. We have KC, aka Preet, CJ, and K. So, CJ, say hi to the people.
What's up?
Okay. KC?
What up, what up?
All right. So, before it's going to be in three segments of 15 minutes. And I hope you guys enjoy it. So, open communication, what is it? What is communication? Okay, so what is the difference between communicating and just talking? Communication is the impairing or exchanging of information or news. So in a relationship, communication allows each person in the relationship to explain to someone else what you are experiencing and what your needs are. In the act of communicating, not only helps to meet your needs, but it also helps you to be connected in your relationships. And this not only goes for romantic and sexual relationships, but also friendships and everything as well. The 5 C's of effective communication are to be clear, to be concise, to provide a compelling quest, to be curious, and to be compassionate. To be clear, you have to communicate effectively. You have to know what you want and take ownership for your own needs. To be concise, you have to keep your requests direct and simple and to the point. To provide a compelling quest, basically offer a solution. Don't just be like, okay, I communicated, that's it, what's next? Be curious, be genuinely interested in what the other person is talking about. Be genuinely interested in what you want. Don't just say it's something that you want because you feel like it's what everyone else wants. Be compassionate. That speaks for itself. Communication leads to sharing and bonding. Remaining close to your partner by sharing thoughts and feelings will help you get through challenging times. So, what's the difference between talking and communicating? Talking is just uttering or saying words with the goals of getting a message across. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Communicating refers to one step further in the process, and then it's the successful transmission of the message. When you communicate with somebody and you guys are communicating together, you reach an understanding, a mutual understanding. You're on level ground. You're on the same page. Talking just refers to the act of expressing words or sounds. Communication encompasses all forms of exchanging information, including understanding. So, there were 4 questions raised on the polls, and they are: what does communication look like for you? Is there a difference between communication and honest communication? Isn't talking to someone the same thing? Why is it important even in friendships? So I gave you my views. I'm going to pass it to KC as opposed to why is communication so important.
Well, communication is important because it can cause you to drop the ball on things that you thought you had an understanding of. When you communicate to somebody, when it's all said and done, y'all need to make sure that after you do your talking, that other person has an understanding of where you're coming from and what it was that those words meant as far as what you were trying to say. It can't just be a situation where you just kind of halfway spew some stuff because, anything less of the truth is basically a lie. So, when it's all said and done, if you sit here and you make it seem like you're trying to make one point and you don't make that point, you make a whole another point, that other person that's trying to interpret what you're saying could take it the wrong way and be completely deceived, misled, and everything else like that, leading to you being mad the next time it don't go your way.
Interpretation is a bitch, like, because you could write something out or say something and mean something totally different, but the way that person interpreted it, and it was not the way you meant it. And if you interpret something wrong, it's your responsibility. And you, who knows if you interpret it right or wrong? You don't know if you don't communicate about it. You don't know. There's a lot of things that are lost because of lack of communication. There's a lot of things that are lost because of lack of communication. Interpretation is a fickle bitch. You can definitely, like, for a very simple explanation. Oh, she fat. Now, they could be saying PHAT and mean it as a compliment and not FAT, but you took it as FAT because you're self-reflecting or you interpreted it wrong. But you don't know if you don't talk about it, if you don't communicate about it, if you don't have an understanding. So, CJ, why is communication important, do you think?
I think communication is important, right? That's what you said. Because you can, I guess, know what the other person is thinking, and also one second.
Okay. Casey, what does communication look like for you?
Getting your point across to the other person, making sure they have understanding, making sure that they understand, and at the same time, the person that you're trying to communicate with has to be willing to receive what you're saying too. People that's out there where y'all feel like, you know what I'm saying, y'all can't communicate with somebody that you with, there's certain people that you don't have no choice over who you have to communicate with, such as supervisors on jobs and stuff like that. You have to be able to communicate to them as well, but those people you don't necessarily always get a choice with unless you want to go and find you a whole nother job. But the people that you decide to keep around you, that's in your circle, that might be a spouse, somebody that you might be with, that needs to be somebody that you feel like you can talk to, that you can communicate with. Otherwise, they might not need to be around you as much as they are.
Yeah, and it's also important to note when you're communicating with somebody, whether you are on the receiving end or not, you have to keep an open mind.
Absolutely.
Because if you keep a closed mind, it's like you're looking at everything with blinders on. You don't get to see the whole picture or the potential of the picture or what the picture may or may not be. You just see it your way, and that's it. That's not effectively communicating. That's not honest communication. And in order to have really good communication, that is not something that you are born to know. It's something that has to be practiced, something that has to be taught. And you gotta be able to be honest and communicate with yourself before you can communicate with anybody. And for me personally, it's you have to be communicating with God honestly before you communicate honestly with other people. That's just what I noticed for me, and personally. I mean, that's just my opinion.
And also, anybody on the stream and on the podcast that's following, y'all feel free to chime in if y'all have stories, if y'all have questions, anything. We could see everything that y'all are typing on both the podcast and the stream. So y'all feel free to join in with us.
Please do. A question was asked, is there a difference between communicating and honest communication? There's definitely a difference. There's definitely a difference. Because you could be, quote unquote, communicating, but not keeping it real. So the communication now just turns into talking. If you're not having honest communication, not only with yourself, but your partner or your family, friend, then are you really communicating? What do you think for that question?
Again, anything less than the truth is a lie. So if you try to communicate something to somebody and when it's all said and done, they don't get the interpretation that you're trying to get, then that's not what we would call good communication. Because good communication, you're going to get an understanding, and you're going to know that other person's going to know what's what and where they're coming from. And there's going to be certain things that you're not going to have to tell them, because something that's communicated well, there might be situations that might come up that might not even be related to that communication, but they're going to know because of how you do communicate with them that, hey, this person is not going to like this, or this is probably not, the right step or the right move, depending on what the situation is.
And it's important to note you have to communicate even when it doesn't paint you in the best light. What I mean for that, let me give you an example. Say if you're a woman and you feeling insecure about something, you communicate that. It's not going to paint you in the best light. You don't know if it's going to change that person's outlook on you or anything, but you're not going to have peace of mind if you stay stuck in your head. And 9 times out of 10, it is worse in your head and what you're making it out than in the reality. And when someone communicates with you honestly, don't use that as a tool to control them or throw it in their face. I've had that happen to me in the past. Like, damn near 5 years ago. But communicating is not always easy. It's easy when everything is going great and you're like, oh, I'm communicating. But are you communicating when it's hard? Are you communicating when it's challenging? Are you communicating when you don't want to? Are you communicating when you feeling self-doubt, when you're feeling insecure, when you're feeling like the picture behind the broken frame or the broken picture behind the perfect frame? Those are the moments where it's really important to really, really, really communicate. And truth be told, if whoever you're with or a friend or something can't appreciate that or tries to use it against you or can't come to an understanding, then that person's probably not really meant to be in your life. I mean, someone who honestly loves you, whether it's sexual, non-sexual, friendship, family, they want you to communicate with them because they don't like having that self-doubt and all them questions racing around in their damn head all the damn time. So that's my take on it. What do you think? And we will be pausing this in exactly a minute just to start it over again. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go on and wrap it up, and we'll come up with the other question. Remember, shout out y'all where y'all from. Shout out your names. Any questions, we can definitely answer them to our best ability. And again, this is not factual data. This is just my experiences, our experiences in life. We are not professionals. Peace.